Right? Hey, sunshine. Welcome to Conversations with Celena, the podcast where we discover inspiration, motivation, and information to help you live your best life. I'm your host, Celena, aka Sunshine, and each week we'll dive into conversations with guests who share their testimonies, insights, and advice. We'll explore topics that uplift, encourage, and empower you to be the best version of yourself you can be. So tune in and let's have some fun while we explore all that life has to offer. Keep it smiling, sunshine, and let's go. Hey, sunshine. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Celena. I'm so excited about Sunday's episode because y'all know we're not usually live on Sunday. So just keep in mind that means this is a special episode, and we have some beautiful women on the panel on today, and I cannot wait for us to just dive into the conversation about how they got to where they are. And let me tell you what it is, just in case you don't see it on the screen. We got Queens, Miss Black USA, Miss Black California Teen. I mean, listen, they've done some things, okay? And so we just want to come and share a little bit with you about their journey. So we're going to start today. Oh, let me say something. If this is your first time, welcome. I'm Sunshine. If you're returning, you know I love you. Thank you for your continued love and support. So I'm so excited. I'm ready to just jump on in here. So we're going to start today with Dr. Aaliyah Frederick, and she's just going to tell us a little bit about herself and her journey. Come on to the stage, Doctor.
Well, hello. Thank you for having us today. I love it. Thank you. Very excited to be here with you today with my sister queen in the California court to kind of, share a little bit more about what we've been up to. It's very exciting. So I hold the title of Ms. Black California USA, and my name is Dr. Aaliyah Frederick. And so all of us will be competing in August in Washington, D.C. at the national pageant. So we're very excited about that. But let me tell you a little bit about my start to pageantry and why, this title in particular is important to me. So I did not get into pageantry until later in life in my 30s, and actually got into pageantry kind of as a dare from my daughter, who recommended that I do something in pageantry, and found that there was this whole world of women supporting women, encouraging women, empowering them to kind of dream their biggest dreams and really kind of take hold of their dreams and goals and go after it. So I found it to be something more than the title itself. And it really has caused me to kind of think about my own goals and aspirations and really put them to the forefront in my platform, which is Dream Bigger, Be Inspired, and Lead with Purpose, which is really an extension of kind of my life and career goals and kind of what I do in general. So I am a pediatric neurologist. I take care of children with pediatric brain disorders. And I've been in medicine and healthcare for about 10 years now. But when I look back on it, as a child, there really were not any specific role models that I had in this field. I'm also a neuroscientist, and also didn't have any specific mentors or guides early on that were in the science field. And it wasn't really until I got into college in a scholarship program that was heavily aligned with mentorship that I really found opportunity that really kind of set me on the career path that I'm on. And so I find that mentorship is so key and instrumental in helping to shape young people's lives. And that is something that is at the center of my own platform, and really getting young people exposure to science and healthcare, and also helping them with those mentorship pathways and pipelines opportunities to really kind of see themselves in those environments. Because of course, I'm a Black woman, obviously. We make up only about 2% of the physician workforce. So we are quite underrepresented. So it's often quite challenging when you don't see yourself represented in a particular workforce to kind of imagine yourself there. So that's what we're really doing as part of my platform, is really increasing that visibility and letting youth out there, young girls in particular, know that there are people out there doing this work, and this is something that you could be doing too if that's what you want to do. So really just showing them that visibility, providing them with those opportunities and pathways for mentorship. And also I do a lot of health education and awareness, community awareness. So this work is very heavily rooted in the community that I serve. So I'm excited to bring that to Miss Black USA. And that's why I was really excited to have this title this year, is because a lot of my work is really rooted in serving the underserved. And so this pageant system that is all about highlighting and spotlighting Black women is just such a great opportunity to share what I'm doing and also connect with other women, like-minded women who are also excellent. So that's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to at Nationals, is just connecting with all of, Black excellence everywhere, right? So just connecting with all of the women and learning about what they're doing, and, also maybe leaving there with some collaborations.
That is so amazing. You said a mouthful.
Well, you said give it to you, so I'm just trying to.
Gave it, and it was just amazing, because you're so right. Like, you don't have sometimes, or a lot of times, someone that's already been the trailblazer to set the tone and to let you see that the things that is in your heart to do is able to be done. And sometimes it's not even in your heart, because you don't see it. You have to see things come to pass sometimes in order to believe them, unfortunately. But when you're a child, that's how you're shaped. You see people doing things, like the little kids, they want to be a firefighter, they want to be a doctor, they want to be a lawyer, because they've seen that. And so you are correct. And I'm just excited that you are representing the Black community, or just anyone, any child, but especially someone that looks like us, that you can do exactly what you want to do.
Yeah. And I said I wanted to be a doctor when I was young, but I didn't know what that really meant. I also said I wanted to be a gymnast, and I said I wanted to be a teacher. So I really am quite fortunate that even as a doctor, I'm also able to educate. So I really find that education piece to be very critical. But the pathway looks different for everyone, and it's hard. So certainly that support along the way, it's been instrumental in, my college experience with my mentors. I don't think I would have gotten where I am if it wasn't for that support there. So I really feel it's my purpose to provide that for others, and seek them out, and, provide that support. So that's kind of where my whole platform developed from.
And what is the name of the platform again that you have? What's it called?
It's called Dream Bigger, Be Inspired, Lead with Purpose. And there's more information on it. I'm actually in the process of launching my website for the Crowned MD. So there's more information that'll be there about it.
Okay, well, you definitely have to share your website and everything whenever you get it. I mean, because one thing about it, you could start it in California, the Dream Bigger, Be Inspired. But before you know it, you could have a chapter over here in this state and a chapter over there in that state. Like, that's how things start to grow. And so sometimes once we get started, we can't see the bigger picture of what God has in store for us until we get started. And so this is very encouraging and motivating. And I know that's also part of your purpose, is to do that for the community, to do that for the people. And baby, the titles that you gave out, I should have had a pen and a paper to write all of that down. But I don't even know you, but I am proud of you. I'm very proud of you. And that's exciting that you decided to do something and you followed through with it from beginning to end. And now you're reaching back to help others. Because we don't ever know.
I love how you said you never know kind of how other people are going to be affected, or how things can kind of spread. Because I started doing this work because it was important to me. And through opportunities at work, through leadership positions, I've actually been able to kind of launch some programming through even my work. And we've been able to do some what we're calling healthcare careers programs, where we've actually been able to partner with organizations in the community, youth organizations that are pathway development programs for primarily high school students, college readiness programs. And we've been able to partner with them and bring them to our campus and have them network with various healthcare professionals and learn about what that means, and do hands-on skills training, and leave with a certificate. So these are students who may not have even considered themselves in a healthcare career, that we're able to kind of bring them into this immersion, on a Saturday, and just, expose them to it. And we've had several students come and participate with us and leave and saying, oh, that might be something that I would actually think about doing in the future, where they hadn't had that opportunity or thought previously. So it's very encouraging.
That is very encouraging. And now you got connected with the pageantry through your daughter, you said?
Mm-hmm.
And then you didn't start this for yourself until
So my daughter, she did pageants when she was younger, and we used to live in Tennessee, and she used to compete when we lived in Tennessee. So we moved here to California, and we were looking for a pageant for her to participate in. And one day she said, "Mom, why don't you do a pageant?" And I thought, why don't I do a pageant? I really didn't have any good reason not to. So I had to go and find a pageant to participate in, because I think I was 35 or something at the time. So a lot of pageants actually kind of after you're like 28 or 29, they don't have divisions for more seasoned women. So I had to go find one.
So you're saying that, okay, so what about for 50-year-olds? Do they have them available for? Okay.
Yes. Well, these days, I think, we've talked about this a lot. The 30 and up divisions are quite competitive these days, and they are the largest growing divisions that you see in pageants. So now you see 30 and up, 45 and up, 50 and up, 60, 70 people are competing at all stages of life. And it's really great because, the women who are competing, I'm 42. I'll let you know, I'm 42. So at 42, I have so much more knowledge and wisdom than I did when I was, 20 something, right? And I have so much more that I can give back to my community now. So, keeping the pageant systems open for these more seasoned, experienced women is great. They're great mentors. They have life experience. They have so much to offer to their community. So I think it's actually really, I think we'll just see kind of more of a shift towards, more seasoned, experienced women participating in pageants, because they actually, you gain a lot from participating. It's really not just about the show. The pageant itself is kind of the finale. There's so much that goes into the preparation, the self-work, reflection, learning about yourself, all of the preparation that goes into it, even with developing your platform, even thinking about how can you really, expand that. Those sorts of things you're thinking about as part of your pageant prep. So there's just a lot of interview prep. These are transferable skills. Interview, on stage question, all of these things. How do you present yourself in public? All of those things are transferable skills. So there's so much that you just learn. So it's great for anyone at any stage of life.
Awesome. Okay.
So you can get into it. Yes. I know you're thinking about it.
I keep that in mind. So we're going to go over here. So let me tell you, over here, next up to the stage is going to be Miss Black USA, Abriana Johnson, man, and Miss Keisha Johnson. So I need y'all to come off mute and come onto the stage. Hello there. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got into this.
Hi, my name is Abriana Johnson, man. My title is Miss Black USA Talented Teen. So I started pageantry when I was 5 years old, and I was recommended by someone in my school community. And at first, I never really thought about it. I've seen stuff about it and started researching with my mom. And that's how I got started, and I started when I was 5. At first, I was super shy and super nervous, but when I started pageantry, it really got me out of my shell, and I could really express myself and then teach others to express themselves and learn more. Currently, I am at Arlia Malibu School. I am your 8th grade student council president, and I'm your honor student. And when I feel like with doing pageantry, it helped me learn my public speaking skills. It helped me learn how to use my voice and help other people's voices be heard. So through pageantry, like Dr. Leo is saying, that it helps with transferring skills. So it helps skills in your school life, in your personal life, and of course your pageant life.
Well, honey, if you once was shy, let me tell you, you spoke very well, very well. So you are correct. Those skills are transferable because you just came and you said the 8th grade. I wish
Yes,
somebody
ma'am.
would call me up front when I was in the 8th grade. I was super shy, in a shell, had all kind of reasons not to talk. That's the reason why that's all I do now. Doo, 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 because I did not find my voice early. So I'm very grateful that you found your voice and you're using that voice in order to help others. Now, what you want to say, Mama?
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, I want to thank you for honoring our queens today. I'm so very proud of all three of them. Pageantry is something I started at 50. So we do have pageants for you.
Okay.
Yes, I currently hold Miss Curvy California, actually Miss Black Pole, I'm sorry, Global Icon USA. And they're currently recruiting, by the way, in case you want to do it.
What'd you
I just
say?
love supporting and uplifting other Black women and queens. And, we all support each other. One may have a dress, one may not, one may need a ride, or, we just continue. We don't, as Black women, support other Black women. And the reason why I like Miss Black USA is because it's been around, one of the longest Black pageants, and they're change makers, and there's professionals like Dr. Leah, lawyers and doctors, and graduates like Justice. And I want my daughter to see college graduates. I want her to see women in positions of color, of Black excellence. So as a director, current director, this is my first time here in directorship, but I've done some pageant coaching and been around with my daughter for over a decade. And just seeing people come out of their shell and supporting one another, you may not win every pageant, but it's the friends that I make, and we all hold a crown, even if we don't get the crown. And so I'm just excited about Keisha's Beauty of Newport, mentoring young women of color, how we can move forward and continue supporting education, federal government jobs. It's just amazing that these type of opportunities weren't available for me as a child. And it took me until I was 50 to do my first pageant. Now I have secured several titles and able to say, now I know what my daughter feels like in front of that stage or that crowd of room. And sometimes we push our children. And sometimes I get, head their lights like, oh, I'm not moving. So it gave me an opportunity to support my daughter, find out what she's going through, but also be able to go out into the community and learn, and just be able to uplift other Black women, men. It doesn't really matter what color, but I'm just excited to be the director, but also excited to have three wonderful women that are going to be competing at the University of District of Columbia, August 2nd through the 11th, 13th, something like that. And the prize package is a 4-year ride to law school or a 4-year ride to Delaware State University. So it's a way to financially support people that may not have the funds to move forward. But I'm just excited. I like to be around positive Black women and just continue to uplift. What I can say about our pageantry, there's not a lot of caddies. Sometimes you see that in the big USA and other pageants, but we're really here for one another. When I didn't have gowns, Dr. Lear may have provided a gown for my daughter. When I have a thing where I gift a gown to each person that's entering to a pageant system that I've come in contact with. So I'm just happy to be here and glad you're able to serve.
That is awesome. Now, what is the name of your organization? What did you say it
So
was?
Keisha Beauty of Newport was a mentoring business I started back in Newport, Rhode Island, and I'm trying to get off the ground here in the Malibu area. I do have an LLC, Veteran Management Consulting, kind of just doing stuff for women in the community, veterans. My daughter and I, we that volunteer and donate clothes to shelters and things like that. Because there was a time when we were in Payless shoes and and Ross dresses when we're doing pageants. Now we're in a Giovanni, so now we just stepped it up a little bit. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
doing pageants and fashion shows and New York Fashion Week, which my goal is to support the three queens, Justice, Dr. Lee, and Abriana. And I would like to do a cruise with them September 14th through 17th to say, hey, you guys went out there, you did your thing, you represented California well. This is my way to give back to you guys. So, Celena, if you want to join us, please join us because I may need you for doing my first pageant for 27 here in California. I might need you to do broadcast, but I'm excited about these fierce women that's going to be competing. And let me tell you, when they coming correct. They not half stepping. Like, we're planning right now with outfits. We're going to do a Zoom next week for um, outfits and hotels and doing a send off party and things like that. Currently working with Karen Bass to be able to proclamate an award to all three of these fine ladies. And just excited to say, hey, I'm 55 and I'm still doing it. So
I know that's right. So how do you recruit the girls for the pageant? How do you pull everyone in? Like, what's the criteria?
sometimes we do it when we're out doing pageants ourselves or recruiting or judging. Sometimes I have a tendency to walk up to people. We've had fashion shows where I've taken names. Dr. Lee invited me to this program in San Diego with a bunch of cars. I started taking names and numbers, and we do have a link, a scan code that we can use to bring in people, but it's word of mouth. I mean, it's word of mouth, and sometimes the headquarters may send me names and numbers. And at this point, um, as Dr. Leah said, there's a lot of preparation prior to even getting on the stage. And see, only people see the dresses and they see the gowns, but they don't know it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of networking and basically organization skills to be able to be there on time, funding, fundraiser. I want to do a double popcorn fundraise for our girls, for our ladies, and be unapologetic about who they are. They're Black women of color who are actually doing things. Like for my 14-year-old to see Justice just graduate, for my 14-year-old to see my BFS as a doctor and a PhD. Right? She didn't tell you about the PhD part, right? She'll never tell that part, right? Um, I've never seen a Black physician before as a young girl, or somebody that I can touch, or somebody I can pick up and call. You know, justice comes from a line of business owners, right? I want my daughter to see that. They see us. You as a business owner and been doing conversations with Celena for a while, and you ladies may not know, but we met at HR in Department of the Navy, right? And she hired me and did my paperwork, and we've been friends ever since. But we're just going to keep pressing forward and pressing towards the mark and bring home that success in August. And I have no doubt that my girls will place, my ladies will place.
I'm just talking. I was on mute. I was saying that's awesome. And I know that Abriana, she is going to have a testimony at the end when she's doing her interviews of the road map that she had before her with with the doctor, with her mother, with Justice, and all of the other women that she's come in contact with. Because I'm sure these pageantries behind the scenes doesn't only show you what you want to be, but it also shows you what you don't want to be, because it just kind of helps you grow up and mature. And so I want to move on over here to Miss Justice and let her introduce herself. Come on, baby girl.
Hello, everyone. My name is Justice Haynes, and I am representing California as your Miss Black California 2026. And my platform is Beyond the Neighborhood, building bridges to access. So, how I got into pageantry was a little funny. I went to Clark Atlanta University and graduated with my business management degree. And it was my junior year that I got to participate in any form of pageantry, and I ran for Miss Ambassador for our ambassador program. And it was a really fun and new experience for me. I was a little nervous. We had to do our public speaking and, really showcase why you would fit that role. And so, look at my little sash coming down. And so it was just a really good growth experience for me. And so that was kind of my first taste of that. And once I graduated, I kind of wanted to see how can I continue, pouring into my community, being a light for other young, beautiful girls, and especially girls that look like me, because I just found it so inspiring. Just the journey that I went on, and how much growth I saw in myself and the people around me. And so I found Miss Black USA. And I was instantly drawn to it, spotlighting Black women. I knew I wanted to, rub up against these women, and I just felt like iron sharpens iron. And so I told my family, I was like, I want to do this. I want to be a part of this. I want to grow. I want to inspire and be inspired. And so that was my biggest thing with joining the Miss Black USA legacy. And so when I was granted the position of Miss Black California and met my sister queens, it was everything that I wanted it to be, as far as the women I got connected to, the lines of work that they're in, the communities that they're touching. And so it just only strengthened me and strengthened my resolve, and the communities that I like to touch. So I've been signing using American Sign Language since I was in high school. And so the deaf community was something specific that I want to touch on. So I'm just extremely passionate about accessibility, equity, and communication. And so I always like to tie that into whatever I'm doing. So it's been a really fun journey, and lots of self-reflection. And so I'm just super excited to continue this path. And I'm just grateful to be here and to be able to represent my state. So that's a little bit about me. Uh-oh.
Here I go again. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. I was trying to make sure nothing interrupted you while you all were speaking, and then I forget that I'm on mute. I do have a question. I know that normally this is very conversation style, so I do want y'all to just come off mute. We're not going to do, call out names. But if you could just tell me, what is the one thing that if you could do differently now that you've been in all these different pageants and interacted with different people and personalities, like what would you do different if you could do something different in this line of work? Because I know it probably is like work.
I would try to change the image of pageantry. Sometimes they say it's a money grab, it's rigged, things like that. I would try to change the narrative on that a little bit, because there's all kind of fundraising opportunities to make it affordable, and you don't have to have $1,000 gown. You don't have to. I learned how to start doing stuff on resale and use gowns and use it more than once, right? So it won't be so cost effective. As I said earlier, it was not affordable for me when I was growing up. Now, if you plan accordingly, it can be affordable. There's been times when I had to have roommates in order to afford lodging. Instead of trying to do everything on your own, talk to your sister queens, let them know what you need. More likely, if you let them know you need help, they'll help you if you let them know. You know what I mean? Instead of being embarrassed, and vice versa. And that has been in my experience with this group, that we all continue to help each other. Man, one may drive, one may take the whole tour. We make it work, and we work together as a community so that it can be less stressful financially. Just like in college, the biggest thing in college is finances, right? They get that taken out of the way, then everything runs smooth. So I would like to change the narrative about pageantry being a money grab, or pageantry you always have to have the latest gown. It's really how you can win in a $100 gown. It's how you represent yourself. That's what I like.
I want to add to that. I think so. Pageantry can be a money grab, and that's why it's up to you to do your research and figure out what system actually aligns with your values and your goals. So there's plenty of pageants out there that'll give you a crown and a sash. If you're after just a crown and a sash, then great. You can spend your money and, get that crown and sash. But if you're looking for a sisterhood, if you're looking for a system or people that are going to help uplift your platform and help you serve communities, and you want to make sure that the system that you're signing up for is going to do those things. So you certainly have to do your homework and know what the values of the system are. Something that, well, I wouldn't change now, but something I've done differently since the beginning when I first started to now is just to make sure that you're enjoying yourself. So certainly there is a lot of work involved with pageantry and preparation, but I like to kind of it's all about your attitude, right? So you can go into it thinking, oh, this is a challenge and this is hard. You can think about this as, for example, I've never performed talent as part of the main scoring in a system. So, it's kind of fun, right? You get to prepare a talent, you get to showcase your talent, and it's something new. And so you kind of go into it with that mindset. But, when I go to a pageant, I'm not going into it. I'm not going into it worried about other people, right? I'm worried about myself. I'm trying to have a good time. So, speak to people and make friends, because, some of the best friendships I have come through pageants, people that I've met at pageants. So certainly you want to make sure that you're taking those opportunities to enjoy yourself and connect with the other women there. And I agree, you don't have to spend all of your money on wardrobe. It's really about the fit and what makes you feel good. So, you could go to a thrift shop and find a gown if it fits you right and it makes you feel great. That's all that really matters. It doesn't matter what the price tag is. And a lot of people get hung up on that. So I agree about that part.
And if you share that you're having a hard time, you never know. That person may need you to go in half on the lodging, or you all go out and maybe get the 2 for whatever it is, like 2 for 25 or whatever, so that it will make it more affordable. But sometimes we let our pride get in the way, and we don't want to let our sister know that we're having a difficult time. But you just don't know. They may be having a difficult time, and it may work out perfectly fine with you all sharing, the expense. And then if you know a good place where I could go get a dress, you share it. A lot of times people don't want to share information about those, gems that they found, but you're not going to get anywhere in life trying to be economical with the information. Share the information. So
yeah, I agree. And to kind of add to the same vein, I think I would make use of my community more. I think when you first get in here, you're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to really make an impact on my community. But you really can go quite far using your community, using your sister queens, and, what aligns with your work. And you'll go a lot farther together. You're not alone in this process. And it's much less scary when you think about it that way. Have fun, smile, like be genuine in the moment, like do things that your heart naturally wants to do. And so everything that you do is natural, and it doesn't feel as grueling, or it doesn't feel like hard work, because it's something that is in you and you want to do. And so I think in keeping it natural and having that support, it's really going to take you far, and you're going to have a much more enjoyable time, I would say, because it can be stressful, but it's really fun. And seeing yourself and the community transform is, the best part. So definitely take advantage of that.
I think that's wise advice.
I want to add something real quick.
Go ahead.
After the pageant, I'm real intentional about keeping in touch with the ladies, because as Dr. Leah said, it's really a sisterhood, because that brings up other opportunities for fashion shows and acting and things like that. And when you've seen someone and you've built a relationship, a lot of times you exchange numbers at pageant, you never get back with them. But for me, I am intentional about keeping in touch, a text, an email, or whatever. What's going on? How you doing? How can I help you outside of pageantry, right? You might need a ride at the airport. You might need to park their car in my driveway or whatever. So for me, it's the relationships after the pageants that sometimes you don't see those girls again until you compete again, if you one of the ones that's going after pageants. those are some of the things I would like to continue to change and just make sure that Abriana's intentional about keeping in touch with good people, not the bad ones, but the good ones. You know?
And I've heard y'all say, it's more than just the dress and more than um, just the very end, being crowned. But I just was thinking about all of the other like athletes or and performers. You don't see them behind the scenes putting in all of the work, all of the discipline, all of the long hours, the tears that they shed, only to come out. Some people perform like in the Olympics. They do the little high jump and it take them just and then it's over. And then you have worked so hard and so long for that one little bitty moment, but it's all worth it. That's what I'm hearing. It's all worth it. It may only be a few minutes in the spotlight at that moment, but everything that you've done leading up to that has been pouring into others, pouring into yourself, doing the self work, the self reflection, becoming more disciplined, whatever it is that you have to do in order to be on that stage. That's what it's all about. That's what I'm hearing from you all.
Yeah, you hit it exactly right, because all of those things that you're pouring into yourself and your community, you're not doing it for the crown. Like Justice said, those are things you would do naturally. So that's why it works when the system aligns with you and your goals, what you're doing in life. You align your platform with whatever your mission in life is. Everything just aligns. And so you would be doing that work anyway. You want to do that self-work anyway, because you want to be a better version of yourself tomorrow. So it's not for the crown and the sash. It's because I want to work on myself. I want to do the best I can for my community. And how do I do that? So all of that work is not just for the crown and sash. If I get the crown and sash in the end, great. That's a bonus. But that's not the purpose of everything.
I love it. And then like tell us something that you do if you get discouraged. Because even though you love something, there's always going to be a snag that makes you think, should I keep doing this? So how did you all get beyond that when you wanted to just throw your hands up, throw in the towel, give up and be like, they can have it? What did you do to get beyond? I know y'all ain't never thought of that. So if anybody on here ever thought of that, can y'all?
Well, you don't know that at a pageant that my car was burglarized, and this is on pageant weekend, where where my with all of my pageant wardrobe and everything in the car, because we had actually just checked in at the hotel, and I lost almost. They didn't take everything, the key, but a lot of the things I needed for competition. We were literally day by day going through the pageant, figuring out what I needed, and going to the store and purchasing those things that we needed for the day of competition. So sometimes you do have really big obstacles and setbacks, but it's all about your mindset, how you go into it. I didn't give up on that pageant because I went there with a goal in my mind, and I went there thinking that I could be the international queen. And so there wasn't going to be, a burglary that was going to take that away from me. So that was my mindset. So what do I need to do to keep moving forward in my path? So that's what I did. So sometimes it's just, making that goal, and you just have to do whatever it takes to get to that goal.
Whatever it takes. Okay, I love that. Yeah, because I don't know. I probably would have been crying. They've been like,
there may have been some tears, but then you gotta wipe away the tears and get to work. So
Yes, you'll definitely wear the crowns well. I tell you that.
No, absolutely. I think to that same vein, I think having a strong mindset is extremely important, and that's kind of what you are working on the entire year of your reign. You're working on strengthening your why. You're working on establishing your connections. You're working your community, and then when you get on that stage, you're just showing everyone what you've been doing for the last year, the last few years that you've been involved in, what you've been involved in, or your businesses, how you've made an impact. I think, having a deeper why is really going to keep you going. Because if you have a more shallow reason, you will get detoured much quicker. So really establishing, why do you want to do this? What do you really want to contribute to the world? If you're gone the next day, what do you want people to remember about you? So those are kind of questions that I feel like if you're asking yourself that daily and you have a good answer, if something unfortunate does happen where some of your things are taken, you're already thinking to the next thing, like, okay, like, how can I do this? Like, I already know I have so much to offer. This inconvenience isn't going to stop me, So I think that is extremely important, to establish your whys early, and your mindset. Like Dr. Leah said, it's extremely important. So, yeah, that was what I would say.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And I just want to mention what Ms. Keisha said about being intentional. So being intentional is important the whole way through, with your time, with your energy, everything. So just making sure, again, everything is aligned. That also helps you when you're doing things that make sense. Then that helps keep you going.
And also, just to add to the conversation, well, first of all, we always have a backup gal, right? We always assimilate. In the military, we assimilate, right? If this doesn't work out, what's our plan B? So it's as the lady says, preparation, preparation, preparation. But I know that Dr. Leah thinks quick on her feet. So she probably was online, probably having stuff already sent over, things like that, right? So we always have to have a plan, backup to the backup to the backup. And that's what life is about. When life doesn't work out in A, you go to B. When B doesn't work out in B and C, like me, I was stood up on my senior prom. However, at 50, I started doing pageants, and it took me back to when he stood me up. And I want to say, look at me now, because look at me now, right? And as we know, I just dropped 200. Look, I just dropped 200 pounds, and I'm looking at me in my size 26 gown now to my size 10 gown now. And I'm thinking, you know what? Everything happens for a reason. All things work together for the good. We talked about being intentional as a pageant. I met Dr. Lear. She was actually judging my daughter, and it was our first pageant on the West Coast. So our mindset was glitch East Coast, which we're used to. And as Dr. Lear said, you have to do your research on a different type of pageant if it aligns with your values and things like that. And we just went out there blindsided. And we develop a good rich friendship and relationship over the next couple of years. And we find ourselves doing Zoom with young girls that may want to go to her medical school, or talking to younger women about education, or not necessarily pageantry, because pageantry is not for everybody, right? But for me, I was an only child for 20 years. So to me, I'm looking for that sister friendship as well as the sisterhood, right? So as a retiree of the U.S. Space Force, I'm just dedicating my time to helping women of color, young, old, black, white, whatever, learn how to get federal government jobs, learn how to find the scholarships. Dr. Leah talked about the academic scholarships and things. My goal is to make sure that each woman that I get in touch with through the pageantry, how can I help you? How can I serve you? If you don't want to do pageants, how can I help you get scholarships and things like that? So I'm excited to just have my daughter. Like she said earlier, she was 5 years old, and one of the Catholic schools submitted her for this program. And, she's taken me along her journey. And we walked in New York Fashion Week. I wanted to see what was going on, make sure there was no bullying. Bullying is something that I want to change in the pageantry. Dr. Leah talked about the older division. The actual older division is actually almost more competition than the younger divisions, right? So I'm just excited. And
mindset of helping others, being thankful for what you have. So just gratitude, and having a mindset of believing in yourself, because that's how you can help others believe in themselves as well. And you can love yourself so you can love others even more.
You definitely have to love yourself. And so often I think growing up young, the way that we grew up, you do get bullied. You get bullied in school. You get bullied at the bus stop. Listen, I'm speaking from experience with the bullies. And children can be so cruel then you grow up and you realize adults can too. I mean, just people in general. But if you can be that loving person, it doesn't matter what someone else does. It doesn't matter what someone else says. When you look in the mirror, you know who you are, and the goals and the dreams and the aspirations and the morals and values that you have.
Yeah.
You just keep it moving and you don't worry about that other person. Does it sting? Depending on who it comes from, because some of the people that's closest to you, who you believe want to see you succeed and be successful, be the very one hoping, praying for your downfall. And so you do, just like with the robbery at the car, you have to understand, like, I can't get distracted by the people around me that's not doing, that's not encouraging. I got to stay focused on the prize. And the prize is not the sash, the sash and the crown, but the goal is to be the best that you can be, to be a better version of yourself today than what you were yesterday. So that if you expire today, what do you want people to say about you? That's how we want to live life. And I believe that's what Miss Justice was saying. Like, what do you want people to say about you? And I think that that's how I'm doing now. I mean, I'm writing my obituary because that's how I can know what I want to do today. Is by knowing what I want at the ends of my life said about me.
I love that.
I'm proud of all of y'all. Y'all are so beautiful and so inspiring. I pray that this episode really blesses other young women and men, you know, to say, listen, that helps me. That helped me because they didn't let anything stop them. And y'all are not only being in pageants, but you're being active in the community. You're being active in being entrepreneurs and reaching back and helping other people. Because if you could just reach one person, you don't know who that one person could reach. I remember, I think it was this pastor. I think it was this pastor. He was a big name pastor, and I don't think his mother wanted him, but a family adopted him, and so that was their purpose in life, was to raise him so that he could grow up and touch all these other people. So you do your part, stay in your lane, and don't try to do what other people doing, because what's assigned to Miss Keisha may not be for Justice. What's for Justice might not be for Abriana. And same with Dr. Frederick. So we have to stay in our lane and know what's comfortable for us and what aligns. Just like the doctor was saying, we have to know and push forward as hard as we can.
Yes. And I actually have something that you reminded me of. My mom, she always used to tell me, when you're working and trying to reach your potential, you are someone's answered prayer. So when you don't do the work, there's someone that was relying on you to be the best you, to then get them to the next place. And so I think we are all connected, you know, and I think that's something that inspires me in my life, because it's not just about me. There are people watching you that you don't know about. You could be an older sibling, or even if you're not, you're the leader in your friends, you're the leader in your community in some sort of way. And so I think it's really important to answer the call, because there are things relying on you, so it can move the way it was meant to. So you reminded me perfectly with that story, and I wanted to kind of add that in there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
I know yesterday that this lady, she was nasty to me at the grocery store. And I just thought to myself, that was so unnecessary. And you don't know how your words and your actions could negatively affect someone else. And I was thankful that I didn't sit there in the spirit of offense, because I've lived there too long. And so I could just imagine being in the environment that you all are in, that sometimes people could try, because they want you to quit. They want you not to show up as your very best self. They say little things, maybe about your hair, maybe about your dress, maybe about this, but you do have to have that mindset that regardless if anyone else is nasty to me, about me, that I'm not going to let that get to me, because I'm here for a purpose and I'm going to fulfill that purpose because it's mine to fulfill. Hey, Rihanna, what you got to chime in and say, baby girl?
So I agree with all you guys have been saying. You can't focus on other people and what they're saying. They might try to say something like kind of backhanded or small, trying to get to you because they want to get to you and they want you to feel down about themselves, maybe because they're not feeling too well about themselves. So they might trying to project on other people so they can feel better about themselves, but in the end, it comes down to who you are. And if you know who you are as a person and know your whys and know who you are and who you want to become later in the future, that you can't let those people get to you because they're trying to stop you in your path, trying to build walls in your journey, but you're trying to break those walls down, open the new doors, open new windows. So just by being yourself, not caring or not minding what other people are saying about you will really help you step and strive bigger and, the step to your goal, because the sky is the limit.
Very good. Very good. So I just want to ask each and every one of y'all, if you could tell the audience, whether they're listening today or whether they will hear this later, if you could take one thing away, I would want your one takeaway to be. So you all have said a lot. You all have been through a lot, but you've encouraged us as well. So I would like for you all to give us a one takeaway. Like, if you don't get anything else from this episode, from what I said, please take this one nugget away. I'm going to start with you, Miss Justice.
All right. One takeaway. I would say whatever is in your heart, to really do it. I think a lot of times we're asking for permission from other people to start things. You're waiting for a sign of inspiration. And I think in our heart of hearts, we kind of know, I want to do this. I think I can do this. And I think waiting on that permission that may or may not ever come, is a waste of a gift, that the world or your community needs to see. And so, yes, this is your sign to do it. If you have something that you're ready to do, go ahead. This is your sign. This is the special bird, the star you're waiting for. Start what you're trying to do. Because I think, sometimes I can get caught up in that as well. And it can be hard to put yourself out there, and we don't want to not acknowledge that. But that becomes noise that will slowly quiet down as you continue your journey. And so I just want to empower people. You guys got it. It's going to be great. Smile, be yourself, and connect with people that authentically love you the way that you are, and vice versa. And you'll be successful in whatever you're trying to do.
Girl, hold on. I got to get over here to the that was good. I posted something like that said, you prayed and asked God for a sign. And it was this thing that said, this is your sign. So I had to put that up there because we keep waiting for tomorrow. God will give us a sign and we'll be like, okay, can you give me another sign? I just need confirmation. And then before you know it, you go into because I'm saying that's what I did. Another confirmation. You done had 3 confirmations and you still saying, maybe that wasn't really my confirmation. Can you give me one more sign? This is your sign to do it. Whatever it is that's in your heart, to do it.
Now that you have that sign, I'm going to give you your next takeaway. Is back to the intent and being intentional. So when you have that sign and you know what it is that you want to do, I want you to begin with that endpoint in mind. How do you get there? What are the steps to get there? Be intentional about those steps to get to that end goal, because you already know what that goal is. So begin with that. Make that goal, figure out the steps, and be intentional about it. But I also want you to be open to opportunity along your way. So that path to your your goal may not be linear. And there may be opportunities that come up along the way, maybe through people that you meet, opportunities. I want you to be open to those. And sometimes those will get you to the goal also, just in a different pathway. But you may be able to impact more people along the way by being open to those. So be intentional, but also be open to opportunity.
Boom, we going out with a bang, y'all. So let me ask you this, doctor. There's days that you are intentional and you're disciplined. You just don't feel like doing it. So what do you do on those days?
I get up and do it because people are depending on me.
Yes, you do.
I'll put a smile on my face and I do it.
There you go. You do it anyway. Very good. All right. Come on now, Miss Keisha and Abriana. What do y'all have?
So to continue what we were saying, I feel like something to leave off on is definitely just thank yourself, because at the end of the day, you are the one helping and you're the one, really pushing yourself. So after you've done all those things, you gotta sit down at the end of the day. Like Snoop Dogg said at one of the award ceremonies, I would like to thank myself, because in the end, you are the one doing this. You're the one making all these decisions and helping yourself further strive in your community and doing all these things. So being proud of yourself and thanking yourself is something I believe.
We cannot forget about self, because self definitely has to get up and do all the hard work. Ooh, child, that was good. What you got, Mom?
So for me, I have a couple of things. I was thinking about being optimistic, because you have your up days and your down days, but supporting Black excellence. Sometimes we get higher up in the hierarchy and we may move to the suburbs and we may want to imitate other people. But being optimistic and supporting Black excellence has been my platform since I've been in California. I come from Rhode Island, where the state is majority 90% Caucasian. And so people always knew the little brown girl in Rhode Island who compete. That would be Abriana. So people knew who we were. But since I've been in California, I've been seeing Black doctors, lawyers, business owners more than I've ever seen. And that's why it's important for me to support Black excellence and also being optimistic and being open to different things. Now that I'm in the second career of my life, like, what do I want to do? Like, education is something that I'd like to push. I would like to go back to school eventually to do a PhD or finish my law degree. But for me, it was important for my daughter to have her first Black teacher here in California, first Black mayor that she's ever seen here in California, first Black president of a university seen here in California. So we've had the opportunities to live on both sides of the fence, so to speak. Now that she's heading out to a boarding school in Rhode Island in August, I want her to be grounded in her Black excellence and being part of Miss Black USA. So my takeaway would be optimistic education. As Dr. Lear said, I mentioned being intentional, but just supporting Black excellence, Black professional excellence, change maker, one generation, one crown at a time, as Miss USA, Miss Black USA is their vision.
I loved all of the responses. That was great. What would be my takeaway? My takeaway would definitely be okay with the woman that you see in the mirror. Do the work that you have to do on yourself so that you can truly be healed from anything that you need to be healed from, because being in any type of competition can be very taxing on your mental health. And so you definitely need to take care of not just your physical health, but your mental health, so that when you do go through any adversity, you will be able to get through on the other side of that and continue to just do it. Not just doing it, barely making it, but doing it from a place of strength, a place of healing. And I just love this. I love this for you all. And I cannot wait to be live and in person doing conversations with Celena from Miss Black California. You know, the teen, the adult version, the seasoned version. I don't know, somebody might have to take the microphone for the season version because I have to be in my gown and somebody else will be over there running conversation with Celena for that one. But, you know, this has been beautiful. Y'all have definitely spoke a word for, I believe, anyone that comes behind. Did anybody have any final words they wanted to say? This was beautiful. Y'all are beautiful.
Just want to say
queens.
Thank you, and keep doing what you're doing and bringing. I would like to do something like this yearly with each Queen's Court, several times a year, maybe Black History Month or something like that. We can have some of our queens talk about, things. Just thank you, Celena. I appreciate your time.
So we have a question. What are the Queen's platforms? So let's go around and say that one more time for anyone that's just now hopping on, like how to find you and your business. Like if you have a website, if you're on social media, so that way we'll know how to continue to support you all beyond this episode.
Yeah, I can go first. So again, my name is Justice Hangs. I am Miss Black California 2026. My platform is Beyond the Neighborhood, building bridges to access. I like to focus on uplifting Black families as well as the deaf community and access needs in that nature. And then as far as what you can follow me on, I'm mostly on Instagram at my full name, Justice, and then Hay. That's a piece of my last name. So you can follow me on there for more updates. I'll also be on Facebook at the same name as well. But yes, it's been a pleasure speaking with everyone, and please definitely follow me on my journey. There'll be so many updates coming up soon, so I look forward to connecting with everyone.
Thank you so much. Okay, doctor.
I'm Dr. Aaliyah Frederick, your Ms. Black California USA, and my platform is Dream Bigger, Be Inspired, Lead with Purpose. And my platform is really about representation in medicine and STEM, also about mentorship and pathway development, diversity and belonging, and health awareness and community education. So there are several pieces to my platform. My website is actually in development right now. It'll probably be up and running next week, but there's more information there about my platform and other things that I do. It is at www.thecrownedmd.com. So you can certainly find me there at thecrownedmd.com on my website. On Instagram, I am at dr.giggles83. So I'm also on Instagram, or The Crowned MD on Instagram also. Any of those platforms, you can find me. Thank you.
So I have a question before we get to Ms. Keisha. So Dr. Frederick, you are Miss Black California USA. So is it that Justice is the teen and you're in the different categories?
So Justice is our Miss. So the Miss category, I believe, goes from 19 to 28, I believe. And I am the Ms. MS, which is, I believe, 28 and older. I'm 42 years old. So that's our seasoned queens in that category.
Okay, so y'all are both currently holding the title. Okay.
Yes. She's the MISS and I am the MS.
Okay. And so then the next question I have is, does this advance you all to another pageant automatically, or it does?
So with these titles, we advance the national pageant, which is, there's 3 pageants. So Miss MISS Black USA. So that's where Justice will be competing. Abriana will be competing in the teen category at that pageant. So all the teens from across the United States will be competing there, and I'll be competing in the MS pageant there. So there'll be 3 pageants over 1 week-long national celebration. So we're looking to bring home three national titles back to California. So that's the goal.
Okay. Thank you for breaking that down again for me, because when someone's not used to like the the language and how it all works, like I'm just like, okay, how is this going now?
So there's a category for the age range. So you're competing against people who would have this, similar lived experience as you. So that it's a little bit more comparable as far as, experience and that sort of thing. But there'll be 3 different pageants. So we'll all be competing when we get to Washington, D.C., but not against each other.
And that's for national.
Yes, nationals for the national title.
So when y'all get the 3 national, then does that push you to another one, or national is national?
Nationals is the goal, the national title.
National is the goal. Okay. I didn't know we was national, and I thought maybe we was gonna be international. I mean, we could just keep it going. So bring home all kind of crowns. All right. Thank you so much for explaining that. I appreciate it. Okay, Miss Teen.
Hello, my name is Ibriana Johnson Mann, and I'm currently your Miss Black USA Talented Teen. So I am currently an honor student at Our Lady of Malibu School, and my platform is uplifting veterans. I love serving them like they served us. As a child from a predominantly military family, I've seen and been in the background of a lot of the military experience and the military life. And I would love for everyone's voices to be heard, because some veterans, and a lot of them, are not as heard as they should be. My mom, previous veteran, my father as well, and my grandparents, I want them to be heard, and I want them to be recognized and seen for all they've done and all they accomplished, serving for our country and making for ourselves. I really appreciate all they've done for me. So my platform is, giving back to them. So going to the VA hospital and volunteering, talking to them, donating supplies that they might need, and yes, just volunteer work, and uplifting and being around the veterans who served and protected us.
I just want to chime in real quick. We also, so my name is Keisha Johnson. I'm the state director of Miss Black USA California. The Queen Courts consist of the 3 young ladies, and we like to raise Pampers as well for the low income areas, for people who just don't have the basic necessities.
Women's shelters, like getting them clothes, interview clothes, toys, and baby clothes for their children, having them know and recognize that there are people out there who really care for them. So we go to this women's shelter in Oxnard and a couple other cities donating Pampers, and like I said, with clothes for job interviews, so they can build a place for themselves. Start off with the outfits for the interviews, and then get an interview, get a job, and then provide a life for themselves and their children.
And so I would like to get with Justin to get some of those books that she has to maybe donate to the women's shelters, to the kids, as well as some of the veterans who may be housebound or bedridden, and go around to Calvet State nursing homes, and give them crossword puzzles, give them those books, things like that. So I'm just excited to be newly appointed director, and I got the best team. I can't really ask for anything else. From 3 walks of life, 2 originally from the East Coast, now we West Coast, and we're going to do our best. Again, the pageant is at the University of District Columbia the week of August 2nd through the 11th, 13th, and each division represented will compete, and we look forward to coming home with the national title.
Bring home the national titles, y'all. Come on now. Woo-hoo. Yes. I just want to thank y'all so much for coming on Conversation with Celena, trusting me with your stories, your crowns, just being very transparent of what it's like to go through being in pageantry, being just a Black woman in America. Like, I thank you all for that and showing us what Black excellence looks like. And come back anytime. I know Doctor had an appointment, but I thank you. You stayed for the full duration of Conversations with Celena. And I just want to say thank you all again. Congratulations on your journeys and bringing home the crown. We get to party after y'all get finished. We're going on a cruise to celebrate.
I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm so excited for y'all. All right. Well, I was supposed to, Lord, Tamaya gonna get me. Hang on, y'all. I was supposed to play the thing before we did the final nuggets. I'm gonna play it at the end. Hold on. We just gonna go out with both of them. Here we go. Hang tight, my sunshine. Conversations with Celena. We'll be right back. Hey, sunshine. Yes, indeed. So I have to shout out all of the sponsors for Conversations with Celena, and I owe her the Woman in the Mirror experience. We went to different cities last year, just trying to help women understand who they are and some of the things that you have to release and let go in order to become the very best version of yourself. So thank all the sponsors for your continued support. I really appreciate it. There's no words that could really express when someone believes in you and when someone supports you. Like, a thank you is just not enough. It just does not feel enough, but I definitely thank you all, and I pray many, many blessings upon you. So that is the end of this episode of Conversation with Celena. We thank the beautiful queens for joining us on today. Y'all did an amazing job, and I can't wait for you to come back after you got the national crown to come and share with us that experience. We speaking it into existence, and then we doing the work to make it happen. All right, until next time, y'all share a smile and spread some sunshine.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for
Yes,
having
thank
us.
y'all so much.
You.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.